Midday again. Welcome back. Today what I want to do is talk about or show you how to make Toto. Toto is it's a coconut cake. It's something I can really remember enjoying as a kid in Jamaica. My grandmother made this when I was maybe 70 years ago. It was also a very popular treat at my high school. So I really remember it, something I loved as a kid, and I want to share it with you how we make it. Toto, making this Toto, it's very similar to making other cakes. Something similar to making like a carrot cake, but it's a cake that has a lot of Jamaican flavor and ingredients in it. And I want to go through and show you all the various ingredients that are in it. First of all, it takes flour. I got 3 cups of flour here. I've got 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half teaspoon of ground ginger. Now the ginger, that's a very Jamaican product. So we grow that locally in Jamaica. Half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of allspice, again, pimento, that's grown in Jamaica as well. Half a teaspoon of nutmeg, again, that's very local in Jamaica. And then 1.5 cup of brown sugar, and Jamaica is all about sugar. And then we've got 1.5 cups of freshly grated coconut. I'm going to show you how you prepare that grated coconut. This is the kind of coconut you use to get it, and I'll show you how you get it into that form. I just want to go back and show you also the nutmeg. I'm using fresh nutmeg, and that we've used to grate it like that. That's what a nutmeg look like, and we grate it just like that, right? So I've got half a teaspoon of that, and so we're going to use fresh ingredients. So those are the 9 dry ingredients that we use. Over here, here's the wet ingredients. I've got 2 cups of coconut milk, which you can buy in the supermarket, or you can actually make it yourself from that same dry coconut. We've got 2 eggs, or you can use flax eggs if you want this to be a vegan type of cake. And then we've got half a cup of melted coconut oil. Again, that's a local Jamaican thing. We had coconut oil done there, or you can use butter. And there's half a cup. We have 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Again, that's local in Jamaica. And then we have 1 teaspoon of white rum. You got to use this rum, this Jamaican Ray & Neville overproof white rum, if you want to get the right flavor. Have to use that. Okay, so here we are. Here's a dried coconut that you buy in the supermarket. The question is, how do you get the coconut out of it, the shredded coconut that we want to prepare like this, which we're trying to do. So you got to open this thing, and to open it, you really do need a hammer. And now, you're now getting the dry coconut. So this is what we're going to get out of there, and this is what we're going to grater to actually get this that we need. All right, and I'll show you how to do that. If the coconut doesn't fall out off the shell like this did, then you're going to have to use a knife to take it out. And my advice is, do not use a sharp knife. Just use a very dull knife like that. This is a regular knife you use at a table. And you go in like this, and you try to pry it out. Go like that, and eventually it will just fall right out. You may have to break it out like that. See that? Just break it out like that. And then you get it. So now that you've got the coconut removed from the shell, all we need to do now is grater it. Now I got a grater here. It's got a fine part and a really rougher part. We're going to use this part. Not this, but the rougher part, not the fine part. It's just simply hold on to it and just do it like that. And as you can see, it's all shredding down there. That's all we got to do. There we are. And this is how we get all this. close, right? So I did this all in. Okay, we're ready to prepare the dried ingredients. So let's just do that. There you go, 3 cups of flour, very simple. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. There we go. 1 tablespoon of baking soda, or teaspoon, sorry. We got half a teaspoon of ginger, ground ginger. And we've got a half a teaspoon of salt. There you go. Half a teaspoon of allspice. Ooh, it smells so nice. And a half a teaspoon of fresh nutmeg. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make sure they're properly mixed up together. Very important to do this so the spices are nicely spread throughout the flour and not just stuck in one location. There you go. All right. So now let's just add the brown sugar and our grated coconut. So the coconut, that's why it's a coconut Toto. All right, so now this one we've got to make sure it's nicely mixed together. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to do the wet ingredients and incorporate it with the dry ingredients. We got a couple of eggs here which we have to get beaten, and we'll get those done. And up. We'll just add, there we got our coconut milk, and we got our coconut oil, all the good stuff here. We got vanilla, and we've got the great white rum. Woohoo! Okay, so now we're going to incorporate. Now what I've done here is I've put a bit of a hole in the middle here to pour it in. It's a good way to start it off. As you can see there, then I'll just pour the wet ingredients all in there. Get it all out. So let's not waste any of that. Beautiful stuff. It smells really nice. Ooh, I think what I'm smelling is the vanilla. Ooh. All right, I'm just gonna put this all together now. Good way to start. Wow, it's going to be good. All that dry stuff at the bottom. All that dry stuff at the bottom. Now notice we don't have, it's not a dough that we have here, okay? We don't want a dough. There you go. The oven has been preheated to 350 and we're going to be baking it for 1 hour. I made sure that I didn't overdo this, but just make sure that all the white flour is all covered. We're going to put it in this pan. This is a baking pan. It's a 12 by 8 pan or 11 by 9 pan. As you can see, it's a flat pan, and we've got this paper in it. Just going to put this right in the middle. This will spread out as soon as it gets hot, so I wouldn't worry about it. Just get it a little bit flat and that'll be good. Now what I'm going to do is put it in the oven. Remember, as I mentioned, the oven is already preheated for 350. We're going to put it in the center and leave it there for 1 hour. In there, and we'll be back. Okay, it's 1 hour. Let's get that out of there. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that beauty. Ooh. Smells nice too. Wow, look at that. But right now it's much too hot, so I'm just going to leave it. But I can tell you the smell is unbelievable. You can smell that coconut. Yeah, this is Toto, real Toto. Or you can call it a coconut cake, but it's beautiful. Wait till we cut it up. So here we are, 20 minutes later. It's nice and cool now, and so we can take it out. Grab this parchment paper. Made it really easy to take out, and we've got it out. So now we're going to cut it. And so normally this is cut in squares. So we're going to cut it in squares. Cut it down here as well. So there you go. All right. I've got a piece here. This piece is for me. Take a look at that. It's nice and moist. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way I remember it. Moist, smells nice. I'm going to see what it tastes like now. Beautiful. I like to eat this with milk. Love it with milk. That's real Jamaican Toto. Just like my grandmother used to make it 70 years ago. I think if you make it, you're going to love it. And I highly recommend that you make it. So what we're going to do with this now, probably give some to friends. I've got a couple of friends who would love to try it, so I'm going to do that. The rest of it will wrap up nicely. You can even freeze this thing if you like. I mean, obviously I can't eat all of this on my own, so I'm going to give some to friends. Makes a beautiful gift. So I ate that, and I hope you like it when you cook it. All right? See you again next time.